Welcome back to Devotions. I'm your host, Jaden, and today we're going to be doing another passage from Psalm, or Psalms, if you want to call it that. And today I'm going to be reading Psalm 55. I picked this one because of the title. Very, very interesting title. It's definitely different than what I've read in the past. Everything I've read so far has some kind of concurrent theme to it. Maybe sometimes varying or having variation, but this one is very interesting, and I think it'll be interesting enough for a whole video, to be on it. So without further ado, let's get right into the scripture. All right. So without much delay, let's get into it. Psalm 55. Trust in God concerning the treachery of friends. So, give ear to my prayer, O God, and hide not thyself from my supplication. Attend unto me and hear me. I mourn in my complaint and make a noise. Because of the voice of the enemy, because of the oppression of the wicked, for they cast iniquity upon me, and in wrath they hate me, meaning the wicked hate me. Then my heart is sore pained within me, and the terrors of death are fallen upon me. Fearfulness, and trembling are come upon me, and horror hath overwhelmed me. And I said, Oh, that I had wings like a dove, for then I would fly away, and be at rest. Lo, then would I wander far off and remain in the wilderness. Selah. Lo, then would I wander far off and remain in the wilderness. Oh, that I had wings like a dove, for then I would fly away and be at rest. I guess I'm trying to figure out where it starts of what I'm supposed to go over and talk about, and where it stops. Obviously where it stops is the way it says Selah. So I'll come back to that after the fact. I'm not sure what that's trying to say. Anyway, starting with verse 8, or continuing. I would hasten my escape from the windy storm and tempest. Destroy, O Lord, and divide their tongues, for I have seen violence and strife in the city. Day and night they go about it upon the walls thereof. Mischief also and sorrow are in the midst of it. Wickedness is in the midst thereof. Deceit and guile depart not from her streets. For it was not an enemy reproached me, then I could have borne it. Neither was it he that hated me, and did magnify himself against me. Then I would have hid myself from him. But it was thou, a man, mine equal, my guide, and mine acquaintance. We took sweet counsel together, and walked unto the house of God in company. I'm guessing this is starting with verse 12, then going here, then here. So 12, 13, and 14, it sounds like, I'm guessing this is David talking about gaining a friend instead of an enemy, and which in this case, if you've ever read the Bible, or specifically, the story of David in Kings, David and Jonathan become friends. So I'm guessing this is what this is, because a lot of the Psalms are written by David. So he found a friend that wasn't an enemy. He was his equal, his guide, his acquaintance. We took sweet counsel together and walked unto the house of God in company. And then let death seize upon them, and let them go down quick into hell, for wickedness is in their dwelling, and among them. As for me, I will call upon God, and the Lord shall save me. Evening and morning at noon will I pray, and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice. He hath delivered my soul in peace from the battle that was against me, for there were many with me. God shall hear and afflict them. even he that abideth of old, Selah. See, now I'm trying to put the connection together, because it goes from what I can only guess is David making a friend, which would be Jonathan, to to let death seize upon them. But I'm guessing that's the people who were, hating on David and trying to wished death and wickedness upon him. So I'm just a little confused as to what's up with the 180 switch right there. But I digress. So 18, he hath delivered my soul in peace from the battle that was against me, for there were many with me. God shall hear and afflict them, even he that abideth of old, Selah. So he shall hear their, I'm guessing this means he shall hear the things they say about him and then afflict them accordingly, even the people who are old. It's kind of hard to dissect this one, because they have no changes, therefore they fear not God. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. But thou, O God, shalt bring them down into the pit of destruction, bloody and deceitful. Men shall not live out half their days, but I will trust in thee. Okay, so this is kind of very... I'm going to go to the big screen real quick. Wow. So... oh, I went all blurry. There we go. So, I am actually having a very difficult time trying to dissect this. So, we're going to go over the Selahs first, because those are the ones that are most confusing to me. See, I know there was another one that said Selah. No, I'm missing it. It was in between a verse. Well, dang. I'll find it one day. So, starting off with verse 7, lo, comma, then would I wander far off and remain in the wilderness. This is talking about the verse before where it talked about, and I said, oh, that I had wings like a dove, for then I would fly away and be at rest. Lo, then I would wander far off and remain in the wilderness. Selah. And then the next verse, I would hasten my escape from the windy storm and tempest. So, what I can take from this is because the scriptures before the chapters, no, dang, the verses before are what I guess is David talking about how he has many enemies, how they wish upon his downfall, effectively. And I guess I kind of look at this as he's personifying, or not personifying himself, but he's relating himself to a dove flying away through the wilderness and escaping from windy storm and tempest, which the windy storm and tempest would be the people who hate him and want him to die and suffer. And I guess that's, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's kind of what I read there. And then you have verses 12, 13, and 14, obviously pointing towards him and Jonathan. But then I'm very confused as to why it goes from, we took sweet counsel together and walked unto the house of God in company, straight to let death seize upon them. There's no more expounding upon the relationship between him and Jonathan. It's just, let death seize upon them. Join the dark side. Let death seize upon the enemies. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm just a little confused. But I'm guessing this is just his way of segueing from, I got a friend now, and I'm in a friend-like relationship with somebody, to to wishing death upon his enemies that wish death upon him. I don't know. It's just a little hard to dissect. I'm actually stumped for once instead of having something to talk about. As for me, I will call upon God, and the Lord shall save me. And it says, evening and morning and at noon I will pray and cry out loud, and he shall hear my voice. And he hath delivered my soul in peace from the battle that was against me, for there were many with me. And so that's David kind of saying, praying, dear Lord, please, deliver me from my enemies and destroy them, in a kind of a brutal way, or brutal sense of saying it. And then saying, I pray and glorify him, and I call upon him, and he saves me. He answers my call, which is what we can all do. I don't know how effective calling upon the death of our enemies is, but I still, like, praying to God is definitely very important. And then we move on to verses 21, 22, and 23, not in the same order though. So 21, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. So, words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. Just talking about, God shall hear and afflict them, even he abideth of old, blah, 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 blah. Therefore they fear not. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. So who is he? Not gonna lie, I'm a little confused. Not gonna lie, I might have to go to Google for this one, actually, if I'm being real here. So, hold on. Psalm 55, 21 meaning. Meaning, yeah. I was trying to make sure it's the right verse. So it describes the ultimate betrayal, a hypocrite whose soothing, flattering words, or words smoother than butter, mask hidden hostility and destructive intentions, or drawn swords. The verse captures how dangerous, charming, deceitful talk can be. How dangerous, charming, deceitful talk can be. That's not proper English. Can be when the speaker harbors malicious motives, drawing a sharp contrast between outward friendliness and inward hatred. So, I'm glad I actually cleared that up for me and you guys, because I thought it was almost talking about God, but it's actually talking about a hypocrite, which is actually a very good way for me to segue into a conversation about that. We should not be hypocrites. Hypocrites are what kill a group of people's credibility, right? Like, you have atheists or evolutionists, people who believe very strongly in something that they build their entire life foundation around. And then you have the people in the group of people, or that sect of people, who become what you call a hypocrite or hypocrites. And whether they realize it or not, they intentionally or unintentionally contradict themselves or show off mass levels of hypocrisy, which end up getting attacked from every angle, and people just start noticing the plot holes in what they're saying and the hypocrisy that they're spewing. And it oftentimes ruins their credibility and just kind of runs them through the dirt, runs the rest of the people in that group or that body of people through the dirt, even though it's just one person. And it's unfortunately the same for Christianity. There's a lot of Christians that will just say something is one way and then believe the other way when no one's looking, and then somebody sees, and then, oh, well, Christians are hypocrites. Not just that guy, but all Christians are hypocrites, and that's the unfortunate part of people being ignorant and not really knowing what they're talking about, or they know what they're talking about, but they don't really believe it. So they kind of just say it's one way and then do it another way or the opposite way. And that's where the accusations for hypocrisy come in. And that's how you dismantle even sometimes seemingly perfectly good belief systems, is through hypocrisy. Anyway, I've been talking on this one subject for way too long, so I'm going to move on to the next verse. 22, cast thy burdens upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. That's pretty good. I mean, come on. Cast thy burden upon the Lord. What's your burden? Anything you're dealing with, anything you're worried about, anything that you're dealing with now, you have dealt with, or you think you're going to deal with, or you will deal with. Give it to him. Cast it upon him. Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. Sustain. What does sustain mean? I have an idea, but I'm going to look up the Google official meaning because I like to be precise and not just spew a bunch of nonsense. So, sustain means to support, maintain, or prolong something. It generally involves keeping something going, enduring a burden, or providing the necessary physical or emotional nourishment to survive. So, when it says, and he shall sustain thee, it means he will give you what you need to keep going. He will never make it too hard to where you can't keep going. He will not that he makes it hard, but he will never leave you hanging. If you trust in him, you pray to him, you trust in him, you have faith that he will help you, he will help you. Right? It'll be hard. It's going to be hard, but he will sustain you, which means he will give you what you need. He will prolong your walk in your journey. He will give you everything you need. He will provide, right? And he will allow you to go on. That's how a lot of us are still continuing to live and go on, is through him. That's how I'm able to go on, because I know there's something better waiting for me, and all I got to do is just seek it every day. Seek him every day, and I'll eventually get there. Right? Now that's a layman's term, so don't take that out of context. I'm just saying, when I know that there's something better in store for me later on down the road at the end, it makes it kind of hard to worry about stuff. I still sometimes worry about stuff, and I still sometimes have burdens. But I do end up giving them to him, because I know he will take them and he will make them into something great, right? In my life, in somebody else's life, through my life, whatever it is, he will sustain, And then he shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. I mean, come on, He will sustain us, and he will also keep us grounded. He will keep us grounded and rooted in his word and in our faith to him. Right? That's effectively what I read there. And then the final verse. But thou, O God, shalt bring them down into the pit of destruction. Bloody and deceitful men shall not live out half their days, but I will trust in thee. Now I'm going to go back and see for verse 23. So, first Psalm 55:23 is a promise of divine justice and personal surrender. Excuse me, sorry. It assures believers that God will hold wicked and deceitful people accountable for their actions, while offering the speaker the peace that comes from placing their absolute faith in God rather than seeking revenge. So, don't be wicked, don't be evil, don't do wicked things, and don't seek revenge. You know, that's up to God. Not you, not me. Don't seek revenge, don't be wicked, and seek God, have faith in Him, and He will reward you. He will sustain. Anyway, that's all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys got something out of it. I certainly did. I certainly did. I'm speaking out of line today. But yeah, so until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Remember to share the good word. Bye.